Here we are once again, exploring the vast expanse of space with another 4X game. In recent years we've witnessed the emergence of titles like Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy, and Stellaris the board game, the pinnacle of space games Twilight Imperium, but also Ascending Empires, Space Empires 4X and Warhammer Forbidden Stars. The question looming over us, can EVE War for New Eden surpass its predecessors, or does it excel in certain aspects while faltering in others? Should you dive into this Kickstarter campaign, or is it a journey best avoided? Let's dive into it. I'll quickly cover the game basics, components and the pledges to get to the heart of why you should or shouldn't back EVE War for New Eden. EVE War for New Eden is a 4X space game following the typical explore, expand, exploit, exterminate pattern. Originating from the world of computer gaming, EVE Online, this tabletop game version accommodates 2 to 4 players, promising a fast-paced experience, with a game completion time estimated between 1.5 to 3 hours. Though, as with many 4X games, this should be taken with a grain of salt. With an expansion, the game supports up to 5 players. Victory in EVE War for New Eden requires 10 victory points to initiate the final round. Whoever has the most victory points then is the winner. The base game introduces 4 factions and a plethora of components. While it may seem overwhelming at first, each element finds its place. Design decisions such as individual reference cards for each ship type and the use of cards for upgrades instead of tokens are choices that can be a hit or miss. Although the miniatures might not immediately impress, I have to say I have yet to play a 4X game with minis that appeal to me. I think it is possible to have great minis, but it has its price. Looking at you, X-Wing. The dual layered player boards receive a positive nod. The hexagonal tile board, categorized into 3 types excluding the starting locations, forms the playing field. Starting at the outer edges, players move towards the center where better tiles await. The resource placement mechanism mirrors other 4X games, but the non-dual layered tiles could benefit from an upgrade to being dual layered. Some games use a mat underneath the setup to show you where to place the hexagonal tiles and to help the tiles stay in place. In EVE, they made it so that the border of the playing area is held into place via a sort of puzzle piece mechanism. It is an okay choice if you don't mind me saying, but there are better ways to do this. Let's engage in space combat. For enthusiasts of dice rolling, rejoice! Combat involves simultaneous dice rolls to determine hits, damage and or crits. While randomness is inherent, players have control over ship customization and can play a card during battles to make a bold move. Currently there are 5 pledge options. 2 early bird pledges offer the base game and stretch goals for €124. The veteran pledge, priced at €214, includes the base game with 3 expansions. One is the 5th player expansion and the Titan expansion, but these are actually just one if you don't mind me saying. There's also the Relic Seeker pledge, a hefty €399, provides you only with the base game and stretch goals, but then with larger miniatures. Before delving into whether or not to back EVE War for New Eden, it is worth noting concerns about the campaign's pace. Despite only 4 days since launch, comparing EVE's campaign to Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy reveals a less robust start. The presence of an early bird pledge complicates predicting a potential peak at the campaign's end, but it might not be up to par with Eclipse. Now on to the positive and negatives. Starting with the negatives, while the dual layered player boards are appreciated, there's a suggestion to adopt Eclipse player boards and storage system for better tabletop space efficiency. The faction development cards, though slightly smaller, might benefit from a cardboard size format to further optimize table space. The standardized nature of these development cards, shared by all players, diminishes the excitement of discovering unique tech options. The game introduces an array of resource types, which isn't inherently problematic, but there's a concern about the potential oversight during later turns when players establish their engines. Additionally, a preference is voiced for a victory track over tokens for better visibility. Event cards obtained through discovery tokens seem more like a gimmick in EVE. Randomly drawn from a bag once discovering a new map tile, their situational nature raises the question about their impact. Suggesting a more integrated implementation could enhance their significance. Now onto the positive notes. EVE War for New Eden introduces a streamlined turn structure with escalating costs for actions, adding to the strategic depth. But there is a caveat. Some actions aren't actions, like using an upgrade card that you have already researched. This system can offer you more than one action in a turn, and I am not that fond about this stuff. The unique battle mechanics involving fleet commanders, coupled with a targeting and hitting system, generates intrigue. The singular victory conditions and mission cards promoting player interaction discourages passive strategies. I think they made a great design choice by giving you victory points for controlling 5 systems and 1 more for controlling the center tile. This incentivizes players to interact with each other, so you don't let others win that easily. This also will upset passive players. But hey, it's a 4X game. Despite a mix of positive and negative critiques, I have a personal back and forth on whether to back EVE War for New Eden. The decision to hit the back button stems from a cautious approach, with reservations about the campaign's trajectory and a desire for more stretch goals and the resolving of some of my earlier mentioned issues. One thing that is important to me, I own only one 4X game, and it is Civ. The game is 100% different compared to this game. So I want to own a 4X game that is set in space and looks and feels like Eclipse, but isn't Eclipse. The fact that there is an early bird pledge helped me push the back button. But a concern about the campaign's success not surpassing 700,000 euros lingers. This is fueled by the ghost of Mythic Games making a game while knowingly not having enough funds to complete the project. 700,000 is a number that I came up with, but where I feel that they can actually produce and make the game and leave it at my doorstep. Speaking of Mythic Games, did you know Frank has psychic powers? He knew what Mythic was up to even before the news broke through. It's a good story and you can watch it here. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of EVE War for New Eden. This is it for this video and we'll see you in the next video.